Hey y'all, it's Bailey with Reclaim Grace, and I am so happy you clicked on this video. Today we have some unique random projects, and we got a very unique furniture makeover, and I definitely want to get your thoughts and opinions about the dresser makeover. Y'all let me know what you think, and we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Hey friends, let's get started with our first makeover. I wonder if you recognize these. I made these over during the Christmas season and they just did not sell by the time I brought home my Christmas, so I cannot store these gorgeous frames. So I'm going to redo them first by taking off the hot glue situation on the back because I could not get the nails to really hold the backer piece back in when I made these over the first time. And we're just going to get rid of everything. I had some fake snow in here with these gorgeous rice paper. I'm not going to throw the rice paper away. I'm going to save that for a project for this coming Christmas. So we're just going to get these cleaned up, disassembled, and then I went and grabbed some of my homemade paper, and I'm going to retrace out a new backing piece for both of our frames. And then I did the same thing with a piece of white cardstock. I just felt the homemade paper needed a backing for itself because it can be somewhat transparent. Next, I'm going to break out some butterflies from the new Flora Gretcha IOD Spring Transfer book. And we're going to transfer 3 butterflies to both of our homemade papers. And I just lined these up. I did not center them because I want to put something towards the bottom of the oval art piece. So I kind of positioned them a little upwards but centered vertically. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to transfer these down like usual, and it transferred perfectly to the homemade paper as long as you use light pressure. So then I went in my stash and I grabbed a few different kinds of moss and I put inside of the domed glass, put everything back together, and I think it is super sweet. So I just repositioned everything, put the nails back in, and then added some hot glue just to make sure those nails weren't going to pop back out. And other than that, this project is done. And I think these are super sweet for spring. And I think they're going to sell. What do y'all think about this project? I still priced them for $23 a piece. Our next set of projects are these Christmas tin canisters I picked up at the end of the season at Salvation Army. They were all 50% off, so I paid roughly 75 cents a piece for these. I'm going to work on getting this seal out of all 3 so I can just set that to the side and don't have to worry about getting paint or anything on it. And then to protect the inside, I'm going to come in with some painter's tape and just seal that area up so I don't happen to get any spray paint in there. This was a bit aggravating, but eventually I got it taped up. Then I'm going to take them outside and give them a coat of Rust-Oleum enamel flat black spray paint. I'm going to give everything a couple colors, but I'm going to be sure that that red lid is 100% covered because this will be my finish on the lids. The actual tin of the canister, I'm going to do something else too, but the black lids are going to remain black is what I'm trying to say. I really like this spray paint because it dries within 20 minutes and you can move on to the next step. So here is how we are looking so far, and I was kind of stuck on the next step. So I grabbed out this lighter green color. This is by Paint Couture. I believe the color is Sage. Just a pretty light green. I haven't used this on many projects, so I also wanted to get it used up. I went ahead and gave the base tin part of our canisters 2 good coats on all 3 of them. And then I decided to come in with a clear coat and just seal up that chalk paint because I think I was wanting to do kind of like an aged finish on this piece, and I did not want any of the chalk paint to come off in like big chunks. So either way, I grabbed out the Milk Paint Bestoke brand. This is in the color Kent. It is a gorgeous moody blue color. And I'm going to mix up 2 scoops of powder with I did 3 scoops of powder with 2 scoops of water just to make that mixture a little bit thicker than usual. I'm going to mix that together well and let it sit up and thicken. And here we go. We're going to add a different color to the canisters. I wish I would have went white here instead of this moody blue. Don't get me wrong, I love this color, but just for the finished project, looking at it now, I think it would have looked better white. But regardless, I did this color and I did 2 coats, drying in between each coat with my heat gun to really enforce that crackle and chippiness because I want that lighter green color to peek through. Once my second coat was good and dry, I came in with a sanding sponge and I'm going to sand some of that chippiness away just to make sure I have the desired look I was going for, which is to pull back some of that lighter green color. Then around the bands of the tin, like the little clasp hardware, I'm going to sand it down to the black just to add a different detail there. And this is what I was wanting on the whole tin, is bigger chunks of green to come through. That's another reason why I cleared that green chalk paint. I was hoping for that. We got a little bit, not much. I'm grabbing some gorgeous transfers from Flora Greca again. I know I'm probably not saying that right. I accidentally stuck this one down a little crooked and I got very lucky. I was able to peel that back up. That is a huge gamble if you try to do that. But I got lucky and repositioned it, and now I'm just going to burnish it down with my little transfer stick here and start lifting and rubbing at the same time, and we'll get this whole piece transferred down. Transfers bend very well around corners and edges, so I just let it flow around the container. With this transfer and the color I chose to paint it, you really can't see the gorgeous typography text in the center of that label, which was disappointing, but oh well. I've already got it down now, so I'm going to move on to the next canister, and this one ends up being my favorite when it's all said and done. I just love this little mini tin with the label on it. We're going to put something in that label in here in just a second. And our last tin, I chose this larger design to wrap around the tin again, and I think these colors match very well with that Kent color. They look gorgeous together. Next, I'm going to jump back over to my small tin, and I broke out the apothecary label stamp and spelled out the word sugar with one of the texts, and I'm going to use my black permanent IOD ink to ink up the back of those letters and very carefully place the word sugar right in that label. You just tickle the back of that stamp very lightly, and I'm going to clean off my stamp and just let that sit up and dry, and it is permanent. No need to do anything else, but I need to clear the transfers and the milk paint. So, of course, I am breaking out Fusion's Agent Wax. This is going to settle into the crackle from our milk paint well and just bring some age to these canisters, which I love doing. It goes on like butter. You brush it on and then just wipe it off. I did pat it off in some areas just to leave a little bit more behind, and y'all, this never gets old. Look at that crackle. It's gorgeous. I think that's why I started selling milk paint, is just because I just love that crackle so much. I'm going to break out some black wax now and just add a bit more dimension and age around the corners and edges by tapping a little bit with a little artist brush and then tapping it off with a blue shop towel. And that is it for these. Y'all let me know, what do you think about them? I like them. I love the sugar tin right here. I like the other ones. It's not the transfers. It's not the milk paint. I just think maybe the wrong color combination. Y'all let me know your thoughts. I still took them to my booth and I priced them for $37 for the set. Y'all let me know what you think. Now to my favorite project in today's video. We are going to be making over this dresser. Funny story regarding this piece. I was at a training in New Bern and I decided to swing through Salvation Army just to check and see what they had because I was needing a furniture piece in my booth. I had a large hole. I seen this piece. It was misting, light rain, and I was torn. I was like, I really don't feel like dealing with it. This piece is really heavy, but then I decided to get it. I took the tag up to the front to check out, and the cashier was like, this is mine. The person that donated it to me said I could have it. And by this time, I already had the guy taking it out to my truck. So I'm like hollering at him, telling him to hold on. And a full-fledged argument started over this piece. Not with me, between the guy taking the dresser out and the cashier. And he was saying, no, you're not allowed to do that with every single piece that comes in this store. So either way, the manager gave it to me for 30% off of $50. So it was a really good deal for this type of Tommy Bahama type dresser. These things are very pricey. It was in really good shape other than that little bit of damage I showed you, and I was in such a hurry to get this piece done. I didn't record filling in that damage, but I just used some Bondo like y'all have seen me do many times just to rebuild that area and fill in these little dings along the front rim of the dresser. And I had to do a little repair to this back leg over here. It had a chunk missing out of it, so I just filled it with Bondo, sand it flush, and then I went ahead and scuff sand the rest of the dresser just to create a little bit of micro texture for my next layer of paint to grab onto. Next, I'm going to come in and give the piece a good wipe down. It was already fairly clean. I mean, this piece was in really great shape other than that little bit of damage. So I just gave it a one wipe off, and sorry about the phone call. It happens every single video. So now the piece is cleaned, we got the hardware off that we will not be reusing, and I'm going to come in with some shellac and give this piece a good prime, mainly to cover up and seal up those Bondo areas. If you don't do that, you're going to be able to tell, you're going to be able to see that repair work whenever you come in with your paint. So I just did one coat on the dresser and two coats on the Bondo areas. So now here is where the goodness starts. I have some Dixie Belle chocolate, and then I have some Dixie Belle drop cloth. We're going to be using both of these and doing kind of a blending technique. From what I have heard, it's called a velvet wash. Hold on, a velvet wash. I found this inspiration on Amy Howard's Facebook group, and I'm just recreating a look she did, which is gorgeous. So I taped up my sides, and now I'm coming in with my brown paint. And we're going to start doing a crosshatch motion and working in sections. I need this layer to remain wet so I can come in with the drop cloth color next. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. But either way, we're going to do cross hatch motions to create a little bit of texture, and we got to work fast so this layer does not dry before we grab our next color to start blending. So using the same brush, I'm dipping into a little bit of drop cloth I poured into a cup, and we're just going to roughly blend those two together. You don't need to blend them in perfectly because then that takes away the velvet look. This first drawer was my practice run. I haven't ever done this technique before, so by the second coat, the technique gets a little better. I would say the most important part when doing this is to make sure that brown paint is still wet and workable. If it's not, it's going to look like you're dry brushing. So even if you have to come in with a water mister to keep that wet, do that, that's fine. That's what I ended up doing for the second coat, and things worked a lot better that go round. But I'm just going to continue doing this process in sections, working my way around the dresser, doing all sides, even the back of this piece. I wanted it finished this way, and the top. And I did two coats like that, and then I'll be back in just a second. I don't know if y'all have heard the news or not, but Iron Orchid Designs is having another price increase on April 1st of 2026. So if you're interested in eyeballing some of their products, now is the time because I will have to update my prices on my website on April 1st. So just wanted to give y'all that little bit of info, and let's get back to this project. And the main part of this project, my favorite part, is getting this dark brown velvet ribbon to create my own drawer pulls. So I ordered this off Amazon. I'm going to have it linked at the top of my Amazon storefront in case you're interested. And I have already test fit like a bow to make sure I knew what length ribbon to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut six total ribbon pieces so I can make sure they're going to be the same length. So I have some floral wire cut to fit I have some little smaller pieces of brown velvet ribbon already cut to fit, and then I have my main pieces. I'm going to do the awareness shape bow and then just scrunch up the center. Use a piece of floral wire to just tighten that, twist it around the back a few times, and make sure you leave the wire there and make sure it's long enough. You're going to need it in a later step. Then I'm going to take these smaller cut pieces and I'm going to use just a little bit of hot glue to tack it on in the back. Make sure you leave the wire poking through the center of those. This process was a little bit of trial and error since I am making a velvet ribbon bow drawer pull. I had never done that before, and I was just going off of a picture, so I had no idea how my inspiration got done, but I felt like this was the best method. So I have my wire here, and then I broke out some loop circle pulls I had in my stash, and I am going to feed the wire, excess wire, through the little holder part. Like it's the part holding the ring. So it's not the ring itself, but it's the actual part that the screw screws into. I really hope that makes sense because I did not get a very good shot of this, but I just pulled it tight, secured it, because I did not want what you actually pull on to be the bow itself. I felt like there needed to be a hardware piece somewhere behind it. And the bow hides this ring perfectly. You can barely notice it. I felt like the bow would come apart over time if you kept on pulling on it. And then Mama's thoughts was it would get dirty from people's hands. So we just kind of came up with this idea. So our last step is to seal up this chalk paint. I did 2 coats of Fusion's clear wax, buffing in between each layer, and then I just added a little bit of wax to the inside of the dresser too. This helps whenever you have wood on wood drawer guides and rails. I swear, I don't know what is going on with me. I'm not starting that over. This helps it glide. Oh my God, it's like a brand new furniture piece whenever you do this. When you're making over antique furniture, this is a must. You must do this step. Then we're just going to put the drawers back in, add our new hardware, and this piece is finished. I know this piece is not going to be everyone's style, but y'all, I love bows and I love velvet, so I love, 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 love this dresser. Y'all let me know what you think. This style dresser, the Tommy Bahama brand, is very pricey. I Googled them and they're going for like $1,500. So I had no idea what to price this for. So in my market, if I want this thing to sell this year, I need to price it way below that. So I went with starting price of $500. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. It's unique, but it is gorgeous in my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think down below. And that is all I have for you today, my friends. I really hope you enjoyed these projects. Let me know what you think about the dresser, especially. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts about this one. And I appreciate y'all spending your time with me today. If you got any inspiration from today's video, hit that like button. Be sure to leave a comment and consider subscribing if you have not already. I'll talk to y'all in the comments. Bye.